Respected Director CBI, Shri S.K. Jaiswal ji, Special Director CBI, Shri Praveen Sinha ji, our special guest from Bangladesh, IG, Mr. Benazir Ahmed ji, Additional Director CBI, Shri D.C. Jain Saab, all the officers from the state and central police organizations, students, officers of CBI, and dear friends. It's a very important occasion in which this conference is being organized, and the subject being discussed here is a subject which is of very high relevance to all of us. The world has changed, it is changing, and it is going to change even more rapidly. In these changing times, in these dynamic times, the topic of cybercrime, cyber investigation, cyber forensics, it has a very important role. I can see some very young faces here. I would like to ask, how many of you are less than 30 years age? Less than 30. Wow, quite a large group. So all of you who are in this age group have a great advantage, but all of you are also the most vulnerable section. Why? Why do I say the advantage as well as the disadvantage? Because all of you were practically born with the smartphone. You know what a smartphone is. Right from your day one, you started using internet for practically everything, for consuming information, for entertainment, for your education, for now that you have come to a different stage of life, for your financial services, and that's where the trouble starts. When it goes to financial services, the things start happening in a different way. And the criminals, their first attack is on the financial systems. That was on a lighter note, but on a serious note, the way our society, our organizations, all of us, our day-to-day working, everything has got integrated and shifted to a device like this. We have gained a lot of productivity, a lot of efficiency, a lot of convenience, but simultaneously the possibility of somebody intruding into our day-to-day life has increased manyfold. And that intrusion can be sometimes benign, but mostly it is a malignant intrusion. Mostly with some aim of either gaining information or most of the times trying to use that intrusion to do something which is a fraudulent activity. Now, how do we tackle this huge challenge that we face? I think we need to tackle it on 5 fronts. What are these 5 fronts? The first is legal structure. We definitely need to overhaul our legal structure in a big way. I don't think any incremental changes will help. The change has to be substantial, significant, fundamental, structural, and that is where the whole conflict between the two constraints, the first constraint of right to expression, freedom of expression, right to privacy, all that's entirely one arm of the society which is saying that no, these are sacrosanct rights. We cannot allow anybody to get into this sphere. And there is the second conflicting demand which says that there has to be regulation, there has to be control, there has to be a way to prevent fraudulent activities in the garb of right to privacy and freedom of expression. So that is the balance which societies have to strike. And luckily, post-COVID and during COVID, the world has changed so much, the world has changed fundamentally, the way of thinking has changed, that the balance is now coming in the thought process of societies. Take the case of South Korea. Take the case of Australia. Take the case of recent almost every state in US, the European Union. Large number of legal, societal interventions are today happening, which are basically trying to bring back the balance between right to privacy on the one side and need for regulation on the other side. We in India are also trying to create that societal consensus. It's happening. Recently in the parliament, multiple number of times, the opposition, which used to be very vocal about government trying to intrude in people's lives, that used to be their basic fundamental accusation, is today asking that no, we need more regulation. We need more control. We need a legal structure in which people's privacy as well as people's the right to live in a peaceful manner is protected. So that consensus is emerging, and that will propel our country also towards a new legal structure. And the new legal structure has to be a totally new legal structure which is dynamic, which is in tune with the times, which addresses the aspirations of our generations, as well as keeps our people safe, keeps the social media accountable, keeps the people who want to swindle away our hard-earned savings, keep those people away. So all those things are part of that big regulatory structure that needs to be overhauled. The second is about technology. As they say, the crimes perpetrated by technology will have to be countered primarily by technology. And that is where lots of new technologies which have come up, the university students, the young scientists, the young engineers will have to come up with solutions, whether using blockchain, using encryption, using extremely good firewalls, using ways of isolating infrastructure. I'm sure all of you are aware, a couple of years back, a very large pipeline system in North America connecting two large countries was taken to ransom by certain cyber attackers, and a large ransomware had to be paid before the infrastructure, that large piece of infrastructure, could be brought back into legal control. That is the threat we are facing. Railway systems, power systems, energy systems, installations, vital installations, all these are under attack, and all these will have to be tackled legally first, technologically, primarily through technology, primarily through the use of technology. Third is about the organizational measures. Whether it is a student managing her own password, or a small family, the Wi-Fi router in the family, or a small business, or a large corporation, or a government department, all the organizations will have to think more about protecting the cyberspace. So the days are gone when we could very safely use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the password. That's no longer the case. Today it's so easy to find out lakhs of combinations very easily using computer algorithms and hack the password. So we'll have to come up with a thought process, a discipline, a way of living in which the password is a complex, high security, highly safe phrase or entity or number or alphanumeric combination. It cannot be a simple pass me, that kind of thing, which was, let's say, 20, 25 years ago. I don't know how many of you are still using such simple things. How many of you use, the youngsters, very safe, very high security wala password? I thought everybody will raise hands. But there are some honest people in the room. Good, yes. We still tend to take the password very lightly. And that is where we need to change our way of thinking. That is where we need to change our way of working. And all organizations, whether it's a family or a company or a government department or an individual, all of us will have to think about that. We'll have to create organizational measures for propagating cyber security, which will be training our people continuously, which means creating those awareness sessions within the organizations. We cannot leave everything to the police. Police will come, yes, but what are we doing to protect ourselves? That's the first step. That's the first step we all need to take. So third point is about organizational measures. The fourth is about capacity development. Extremely persistent efforts will have to be taken for creating capacity in cyber investigation, cyber forensics, cyber law, cyber technology, cyber security as an overall umbrella. And since things are changing so fast, so rapidly, that we will have to create a capacity development process which is continuous. So very good example is the university, the National Forensic Sciences University. I think that kind of institution will have to propagate further, and we from the government, from IT side, from MHA, from any office, we believe in whole of the government. We believe that the government is one entity. We should not divide it into different departments or different services or different cadres. We should think of government as one entity which is there to serve the people. So all the organizations, all the arms of the government will be there to support, and whatever support is needed, we would never be lacking in that. The final point is about mutual cooperation. And that's because cybercrime is borderless, we all know. Cybercrime can be perpetrated from those emails which used to come 10, 12 years back about some prince losing his, willing to give away his millions of dollars, that kind of thing, to today's world where practically day in and day out spamsters come from all parts of the world. And the example that Director Saab gave, in the dark web, somebody was planning some serious crime sitting somewhere in the world which was affecting some city in the country. So that kind of mutual cooperation will be very important. Cooperation between countries, cooperation between organizations, cooperation between all branches which are affected by cybercrime. So these are the 5 thoughts I leave with all of you, and during the course of the conference, I'm sure many interesting ideas will come, many good recommendations will come, and I look forward to all such recommendations which come from this conference, and hope that many of them are implementable. I'll request the Director Saab to please send across the recommendations so that whatever points are implementable, we'll definitely implement. Thank you so much.